What's up? It's Versus. I'm John Maher, and that's Will Cohen. Before we get into this movie, Will, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
Oh my God, it's spreading across the country. Um,
And spoiler alert, those are better. Those are better earthquake effects you're gonna see in this goddamn movie.
the best earthquake effects here on Versus. Um, yeah, we covered Shockwaves last week, and they decided not only did they need a sequel, they needed to call upon the talents of the most in-demand filmmaker alive, Louisa Warren. This is Shockwaves 2.
As turbulent earthquakes hit across the entire Earth, the world is in total devastation.
I was walking back from Brett's open house party and literally the whole street just shut.
I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
No daughter of mine goes out in the middle of the night to meet up with some boy.
Police, paramedics, everyone is dealing with that disaster downtown.
I was so scared.
We need to get out of here.
Seismologists are warning those who live in the downtown area to remain in, as this is a high-risk zone.
Get out of my house.
I love how in the trailer they have footage from the first movie that doesn't even appear in the second movie, because there's plenty of footage from the first movie that appears in this movie, but they put clips from the first movie that don't even make it into this movie in the trailer. Bold choice.
Absolutely bold choice. It's also a bold choice to call this a sequel when it's not actually a sequel. This is an exposition for shit you didn't need movie. This, you know what this is? This is the Lion King 1.5 of sequels. This is exactly what this is. This is Shockwaves 1.5.
It's so weird because like the cold open, and this is not the first time like a Champ Dog Uncorked Jagged Edge movie has done this. The cold open of the movie is a scene from the middle of the movie. Like,
no, Liv, look. Help us, please.
you think it's a cold open, but it isn't, because those are the actual characters. It's like at the beginning of like NCIS, like when they show you that like the doom, and it's like what happens at the commercial break. They do that in this movie, but they're not telling you they're doing that. But I'm telling you now, spoiler alert: the first scene of the movie happens like 40 minutes into the movie.
Oh, for a film that's actually shorter than the first one, I've never wanted my time back more. Yeah. Like this, it's not just the fact that this film like refused to. It's not that this film like did what most of these sequels do, which is refuse to acknowledge the first film exists. They clearly do, because they use so much. They use like at least 30% of the first film to make this one.
All the major points are there. Like they show like the depth of the characters from the first film. The funniest thing is there's the scene of the dad from the first film. He's in his lab. But then like that is background footage of the report. The reporter is reporting over stuff that she couldn't have possibly had footage of. Then they actually show that same scene that they're using as the background as another scene.
Seismologists are worried they're going to have a repeat of the Hampstead tragedy 1923.
It's so stupid. It's like putting a beanie propeller on a beanie propeller on a beanie propeller. It is absolutely batshit insane stupid.
It's like it's like having the beanie propeller and then having the side propellers too.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely unnecessary. And not only that, like this is a degree of lazy I have just never seen in my life. It's like this is like not only this isn't just copying directly from Wikipedia. This is copy and pasting. This is like screenshotting and then turning that in as your essay. It's like, guys, what are we doing here?
Also, I have to like stress in the first movie, the main scientist said, this is the biggest earthquake we'll ever see. It will destroy the city. It will destroy the country. Yet the majority of this movie continues to cut back to places that are being hit by these earthquakes. But the entire telecommunications grid has to be up because they're news broadcasts.
Buongiorno, sono Chiara Belli, sintonizzata da Roma. Questo è un resoconto in diretta della scena di un terremoto.
Which technically would not work if the heaviest earthquake to ever hit a country ripped through it. Like, that would not happen.
I was like, hey, John, did you know that South Africa remarkably looks like the fields in London?
Hello, this is Patricia Hart reporting from Stellenbosch, South Africa. Scientists are reporting that South Africa should be safe from the earthquake that recently hit the south of England.
Yeah, and then so you have the Italian reporter who's just a lady in front of a gray wall speaking Italian. There's a guy in India who's just an Indian man.
Good afternoon. This is Marco Sullivan reporting live for On Demand,
which you can find in England. And I love the part at the end when he's just like sitting in his garage. He's like, this might be my final broadcast. He's just around a bunch of sporting goods.
I fear this may be my last broadcast.
Then the girl from South Africa, yes. And then there's a few other random reporters where I guess you don't know where they're from, but I guess it's meant to be.
We hear them, but I don't think we don't actually see them for the most part. And then there's all the random TikTokers as well.
This is crazy. Can you believe what's happening? Literally, what did I just see? I was walking back from Brett's open house party and literally the whole street just shook.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just so pointless. Like, I was walking back from Brody's party. It's like, no one cares who Brody is, dude.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
But this, speaking of lifted plots, this movie is Mega Lightning 2. It's just instead of Mega Lightning, it's earthquakes, because the plot of Mega Lightning 2 was, hey, there's this cataclysmic, meteorological event. Let's use it as cover to rob this millionaire's house. A group of 3 robbers goes in and holds a millionaire and his wife hostage. That's what happens in this movie.
That's 100% what happens in this.
It's the same exact plot. And then people stumble across the house and they get wrapped up in the plot.
At least to the film's credit, what Mega Lightning 2 didn't have is Louisa Warren getting capped in the head. We at least get to see that here. So was
that Louisa Warren?
Was it not?
It looks like her. I thought it wasn't her. Okay, I mean, there's a chance it's her. I thought she was too old to be Louisa Warren. You know what? Let's just say it was. You're talking about the maid, right? The maid character.
Yeah, the maid.
I don't think that was her, but if it is her, that's great.
I'm not bothering Googling this because
I'll put the clip here. Judge for yourselves. Is this Louisa Warren? Let's set the scene. So there's a guy and his wife, and the guy works for the millionaire, right? And he thinks he's getting fired.
Who does?
Your boss. Who else?
I'm fired. I'm so fucking tired.
But the boss is inviting him over, so he's getting tanked at his house.
We should run away together.
So his wife is going to drive him to his boss's house, but it's just like a party, I guess. They also have two older daughters who are just going to use the parents leaving to just have
once again look exactly like look almost exactly like the age of the mother.
Yeah. They're going to have an orgy in the house, I guess. Even though the one daughter's a virgin, they're going to have an orgy when the parents leave.
When the parents are away, the sisters will play.
And that's basically it. Because the guy who's coming to the orgy doesn't even make it out of his house. He dies in his garage.
No!
And the funniest thing is, like, the girl who is the girlfriend of the one daughter, like, there's like blood on the wall. The guy got injured by an earthquake walking into this barn garage. I don't know what the hell it is. And then he can't even like make it back out. He's like, go on without me.
He has a cut on his hand, but somehow he can't stand up.
I'm basically dying in here. Come on, you're being dramatic. I need to get out of here, okay? Come on.
Yeah. So he's just totally jacked. Like, we don't know what the injuries are, but they're too much. So she leaves him. His name was Drake. I remember that because for a second I thought they were selling it like it was really Drake, but his name was just Drake.
I same thought.
I'm like, wow, it's Drake. All right, Drake. So then the girl's girlfriend makes it to the house, and they're just distraught. Like, the one girl is not going to get laid now because Drake didn't make it. I don't even know how the other girl dies. I must have missed that. How does the girlfriend die?
Oh.
So the mom and dad are driving to the boss's house, and then the earthquakes get too much. They get out of their car. And then as they're running towards the person's house, like, something like kind of explodes debris onto the father, and he hurts his back, and then that kills him.
Yeah. Which technically isn't that the no, that's not the explosion from like the reactor or the furnace, rather, from like
that happens way later in the movie. Because the funny thing is, like, we cut back and forth between what's happening in Shockwaves 2 and the events of Shockwave 1. But like, everything that's happening in Shockwaves 2 is happening at night. And everything that happened at Shockwaves happens in broad daylight. And it's presented as linear. And you're like if I had epilepsy, I would have had a seizure. Not from the flashing lights, but just from the fact that it's going from day to night so rapidly in this movie. Then like the two daughters come across the guy. Then we have the beginning of the movie again, and it's not presented in any different light. It's literally just the same exact scene put in the middle of the movie again. Okay.
What the fuck?
That random guy dies. And then there's two people like in an office building in the beginning of the movie. And like the earthquake somehow affects a helicopter that's in the air.
We need to get out of it.
And then we never come back to those people.
It's going to find, like, there's going to be someone who's going to write the lore, and it turns out that, that apparently Mega Lightning 2 is also going on at the same event as this. And so like the helicopter got struck by the Mega Lightning.
Yeah, I want to see Mega Lightning versus Shockwaves. That's coming. Mega Lightning versus Shockwaves. It's the two storms converge. But then, like, we're burying the lead because the heist of the century is going on. These three robbers don't even really know what they're robbing because they keep accusing the guy of having gold in his house, and there's never gold.
Where are the gold bars?
Gold bars?
Well, here's what's even more confusing about this whole thing, John, is that if you remember, they said, oh, well, originally we were just going to come here and make you transfer funds to one of our offshore bank accounts, and then we found out that we have gold.
Yeah.
Well, couldn't you instead, like, if he doesn't, it's very clear that he doesn't know where the safe is. So why don't you just switch back to plan A and have him transfer the funds.
Yeah, the thieves from Mega Lightning 2 just had them transfer the funds. Like it's just, even though like in the midst of this earthquake, the banking systems will not work. But by all means, try to get those funds transferred.
I mean, to be fair, John, if camera crews are still 100% functional, power is still 100% functional during the earthquake century, why wouldn't banking funds be available?
Fair
as
enough.
well?
And I think we can cover again, as this is an area of expertise for you. How easy is it to just have a wire transfer happen in a living room? How easy is that? Well,
when it's massive amount, when it's the kind of money that they were talking about, that has to be done in broad daylight, not in the middle of the night, guys. Sorry.
Oh no! Even in England.
Sorry, guys.
Wow.
Business still works like the same as everywhere. Sorry, guys. That ain't happening.
Needless to say, the robbers aren't successful because everybody in the movie winds up at the house. And then every other movie winds up with a gun.
Shit.
And every other movie gets the drop on the robbers.
Let me know, you fucking bitch!
They cannot keep up with this type. Everyone just gets the drop on them over and over and over. And every time somebody gets the drop on one of the robbers, they kill one of the robbers. So it's really lopsided. It's a really lopsided affair for these robbers.
Yeah,
Also, they shoot the mom like twice, and like she's never really phased. Like they shoot her in the leg.
Wrong answer, Mr. Richards.
And like it doesn't really
stab her at 1.2.
They shoot her in the leg, and then when she's running away, they shoot her like in the back. And like she's just like, I'm okay. I think there's a line where she's like, I'm fine.
I'll be okay.
Because then the house like falls on the last robber. Like
Maher.
The same thing. It's kind of like Mega Lightning, only it's not lightning. Doesn't like the chimney fall on him?
Right. Yeah.
Then we cut away to the end of Shockwaves, where like whatever part of England they're in is literally rubble. Buildings are falling down. And then as a coda, we cut back to one of the daughters putting flowers on a random grave. We don't even know whose grave it is. I guess it's
because it's unmarked, 100% unmarked.
I guess it's the dad's grave. But then in the background, you can
that's,
clearly
that's,
see.
That's what you guessed? Okay.
In the background, you can clearly see like traffic moving fine on the highway, houses standing in the background. So like, is it not in ruins? Like, are we good? It's so weird.
You see, I for some reason, because of the color of the flowers, I assumed that she was putting flowers on Drake's grave.
Oh, maybe it was Drake, but that was the lesbian daughter, not the other daughter. So she had no interest in Drake. I assume it's the dad. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Maybe,
but the real lead is the fact that like society has rebuilt itself, like in the fade out and fade back in.
And I think they even say it was like within like 3 months.
Yeah, we did it, guys.
Construction's really good in England, guys.
And that's Shockwaves. Louisa Warren, one of Louisa Warren's 2024 efforts. I got to see. I want to see her financials. I got to see this. I want to know what the hell's going on. Like, how much are they paying her to do this stuff?
She's gonna self-finance the room too.
I believe it. Let's get to these ratings. Laziest movie ever, half star. Is it the laziest movie ever? It's pretty lazy. It's 79 minutes, and 10 minutes of it is Shockwaves.
Oh, it's only 10 minutes? I thought it was
it might be more than 10 minutes. Let's say it's 15 minutes. 15 minutes of it is footage from the other movie, and it's scenes you don't need to see. It doesn't provide any context to what's going on.
Absolutely not.
Not to mention the actual movie that is not part of Shockwaves 1 is like thoroughly nonsensical, and then the ending undoes the whole movie. So whatever. What would you give it?
I went slightly higher. I gave it a 1. this film offended me by its laziness. But not only that, look, if you're going to have a film as even just unintentionally comical as Shockwaves, how simple is it, especially if you're ripping off so much of the goddamn footage, to keep at least a modicum of that humor and that self-invasion? Louisa Warren just takes herself too goddamn seriously to make these kind of schlock films. And it is so offensive to me that she, that after everything that she has done, that she is still allowed to make films.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got to get to the bottom of this. We're going to get her on the show. We're going to confront her and ask her these questions. All right. That'll do it for this week. There's a drinking game. If you want to subject yourself to Shockwaves too, there's an extra layered drinking game in the comments as well.
You're welcome, America.
Yeah. If you made it this far in the video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Go to the Facebook group Why We Love Horror. Follow us on Letterboxd and elsewhere. Mondays, you're watching it. Thursdays, Why We Love Horror. This week, we're covering the Street Trash remake. And then Friday, more Why We Love Horror trivia. Thank you for stopping by Versus. We'll see you next week.